Hello and welcome to another Art House movie review. This time I'm reviewing the film Amanda, directed by Carolina Cavalli. So I've read some of the critics who've compared this film to those of Lanthimos or Noah Baumbach, Wes Anderson, and I can see what they mean. I mean, for me, I felt watching it before I read the critics, the one that I really picked up was Wes Anderson. It feels similar to an Anderson film. It feels odd and eccentric, and it's kind of set in this perfect sterile environment. It's very minimalist, and it doesn't really look like Italy. And it looks good. I think I enjoyed watching it. It's set in an interesting place. This is her first feature, and it's a really impressive first work, I would say. So it's about this woman in her 20s, Amanda, who's come back home from university overseas, and she's got no job, but her family are very rich. And she comes across as a kind of spoiled brat, and that she doesn't know how to live. Although she's in her 20s, she lives like she's a teenager, like a difficult teenager. And she's not that likable at face value when we first meet her. But clearly this is a very dysfunctional family, and we gradually learn that Amanda had a traumatic swimming pool experience and almost died as a child. And she seems to have been very young, but somehow she seems to be blamed for this. And she has absolutely no clue about relationship. It's like she decides who's her friend, who's her boyfriend in a very kind of clinical way. There's no sense of developing connection with anyone. She just doesn't seem to be capable of that. It's got some humor in it. It's kind of you might say a black comedy, but it's full of eccentricism and weirdness. And for example, the empty raves, she goes to raves that are almost empty. She has this obsession with an electric fan that she might get as a reward for collecting points at her local supermarket. A lot of the film is based around her relationship with another woman, Rebecca, who was an old childhood friend who's agoraphobic and never leaves her room. And so this is the kind of setup, and it's a film about Amanda navigating life in this very odd world. And it's an easy watch. It's really well made. It's entertaining enough, and I was increasingly engaged as the film progressed. It's definitely got an eccentric style, and it's weird and it's funny, and I love the way Rebecca's mum shouts her name. I mean, that I just like the Italian accent. It's the way she shouts Rebecca up the stairs. That is fantastic. And all of this adds up to an okay film. However, by the end of it, I really had the feeling that there's something deeper here that's quite subtle, but definitely there, kind of below the surface. And I really felt that this is a film about mental health and about suppressed trauma and dysfunctional relationships. Amanda is really sad and vulnerable, and clearly hasn't had proper support. This family doesn't really know how to help each other or how to communicate with each other. But at the same time as being really sad and vulnerable, Amanda is strong and resourceful. I grew to really like how matter of fact she is about doing things, and she might, if someone decides not to be her friend, she just moves on and gets on with the next. And I started to grow more of an affection for her. Despite all the privileges of a rich family, she's never really got close to achieving that potential. And by the end, I think we realise that she's not difficult or a rebel. She just wants more from life. She doesn't want to live the way the people around her are living. So although she appears a rebel and oppositional a lot in the film, it's actually that she just wants more. And she has two genuine relationships, I think, in this film. One is with the horse, and the other one is with Rebecca. And Rebecca clearly also has her mental health issues, but these two have a more meaningful connection than with anyone else in the film. And I think they kind of bond in their difficulties, and there does seem to be a genuine kind of relationship perhaps starting. And you wouldn't exactly say it's a happy ending, but I think it does end with the potential for a real human connection between the two of them. So by the end, I felt a lot of compassion for Amanda. I was really rooting for her, and I liked her in her quirky ways. But this is all very subtle, and it might be, the film might appear to be style over substance, but I do think that there's clearly more over underneath. I didn't see this interpretation in any of the reviews that I read, but it's a clear feeling I have at the end of the film. And so although for the first half of the film I was thinking, yeah, this is okay, this is watchable, by the end I was much more engaged, and I did really like the film. It feels unique, and I'll definitely be interested to see what she does in her next film. Thanks for watching. See you next time.